Yo, 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 it's Cinderella Sew. What up? Today I'm going to show you how to take pants that are too big at the waist and just cinch them in a little bit so they fit you perfectly. And this is what it looks like when they're all done. So the first thing you're going to do is try on your pants and just pinch in how much fabric you need to take in. So for me, I know I have to take in about 1 finger width from each side. Turn your pants inside out. So we're going to sew on the side seam of the pants. So you can grab them by the back and by the front and then put the bottoms away from you so you're looking at the waist. We're just going to cut right along these stitches of the side seam, and you're going to cut about the length of your hand. So you can go right in with a good pair of fabric scissors, don't be scared. Cut right through that waistband and then straight down those stitches or right beside the stitch. Perfect. So now this is apart, and all we're going to do now is sew it back together just a little bit tighter at the waist. So the first thing we're going to do is thread a sewing needle. So you can take some thread, pull it out the length of your arm, and then you can cut it off like this. And then you can put the thread through the tiny hole in the top of the needle like that, and then pull the ends until the thread meets at the bottom. Just adjust it as needed, and then you can smooth it out a bit and you are ready to sew. So we're going to start sewing below the cut. So you're just going to put your needle right through the fabric like that, where it's still intact, straight through, and then pull the thread through but not all the way. Leave a little bit hanging out, and then we're going to go back through the same holes or close to the same holes, making this loop of thread. And when you put your needle through that loop and then pull it shut, we make a knot. So you're going to make at least 3 knots before we start sewing up this cut. So 1, 2, and they don't have to be on top of each other, they can be right beside each other, but you just want 3 like that. So we're sewing these pieces of fabric back together all the way to however much you're taking in from the waist of your pants. So I'm taking in by about 1 finger, so that means I want to aim my sewing to be about here. So I'm just flipping it over because I am sewing right to left. So with our sewing, we're going to use really tiny stitches. So we're going to go down and out through the fabric, really, really small. And you can do that and then pull your needle through like that. So again, keep in mind where you're aiming. We know we're aiming up here, so we want to start angling towards that. Down, up, down, up, down, up, like that. And then we're also going to do back stitches, which mean when we come out, we're also going to take a step back and then come out beyond the hole. Perfect. So you're just going to do that all the way up until you get to the waistband. We're running out of thread, so we're going to do our knots now. So you just go down and then out through the same hole or close to the same hole you came out. Put your needle through that loop, pull it shut, and we'll do that at least 3 times. Then we can cut off our thread and rethread our needle like that. So now we can cut off our thread and rethread our needle. Some new thread through our hole in the needle, pull it through until the ends meet at the bottom. So you can see we have our stitches going almost all the way up to the waistband. It's okay if they're not perfect. And then we're going to turn around and start coming all the way back. Okay, we have some fresh thread in our needle. Now we're just going to start sewing again the same way. You go down and out, pull your thread through but not all the way, leave a bit hanging out, then you're going to go back and then out through the same area you almost just came out before, making the loop of thread through the loop, pull it shut, and we have a knot. And we're going to do at least 3 knots like this, and then we'll be ready to continue our stitches. Perfect. So again, keep an eye on where you're aiming. We're aiming about a finger's width in. So again, we're going to go down and up, making a tiny stitch like that, and then a back stitch and out a little further like that. And you just want to make sure the waistband is perfectly lined up before you sew it together. So just hold it together like that. So now we're at the top of the waistband, and we're going to put our needle through the fabric like this. And then we're going to make some knots right at the top. So you'll make a loop of thread, put your needle through, and sew it closed. So now we have a knot tying the top of the waistband together. And let's make at least 2 knots. Perfect. What we're going to do now is just switch directions and sew right back down until we run out of thread. And then again, just go back down through the fabric, making more of those tiny stitches. This is just going to make it as secure as possible. And when there's gaps in your stitches, you can fill those with your back stitch. So you can see there's blank fabric here, so I'll put my needle down and then come out beyond my stitch, and that makes a piece of thread in that gap. So you can just do more of those back stitches all along your line of stitches, and this just makes it nice and secure. And it's okay if your stitches don't look that perfect. We just need them to hold the fabric in place. Here's another place where you can see there's no stitch, so that's a perfect place for a back stitch. So you'll just put your needle down and then come out, and you can see now there's thread at that section. So we're almost out of thread. We have a nice line of stitches here. We're just going to do a couple knots. So you're just going to go down and then come out near where you almost came out, put your needle through that loop and pull it shut. And we're going to do 3 knots on top of each other. Then we can cut off our thread and try on our pants. So there's our last knot there. So we'll cut off our thread like that. When you turn it right side out, your pants are sewn back together and you don't even see the thread. So you can try on your pants and see that they fit so much better. So that was really easy to do, and now you have a custom shaped pant to your exact size. When I got these pants, I was really bummed they didn't have a good size for me, but now I've made them fit to me perfectly. Thank you so much for watching Cinderella Sew, and I'll see you soon. Peace.